Hey, Rick Shu here, Left Crew Politics. So it's been a while since we've done a podcast or a video of any sort, really, because we're in the middle of rebranding and we're going to be relaunching our show. So we've been on hiatus, still active on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. But in terms of just getting the show up and running again and whatnot. But yeah, we're just on a little bit of hiatus, but we're close. But I had to put something up on this. So as many of you know, there is a potential indictment and arrest of Trump this Tuesday for the hush money for Stormy Daniels. There's also two other looming indictments, including what's going on in Georgia in terms of Trump trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Trump is a menace. He's a criminal. And I'm hoping that one of these stick, that justice is served at the very least, that he's not able to ever hold public office again. If he's off in Mar-a-Lago for the rest of his life playing golf, I don't care. I don't even care at this point. Just keep him out of power, away from the White House, away from elected office. Frankly, he should be in jail. Now, what is happening right now is that Trump, unfortunately, still holds the GOP base. The Ron DeSantis rise to power, potential rise to power outside of his governorship, obviously, remains to be seen. I am pretty skeptical that anybody else will be the nominee other than Trump. I'm not even convinced that he's not going to get reelected just because he owns the base and there's an electoral college and you can squeeze out a victory still. But hopefully justice will be served or something will happen to prevent that, even if it's the rise of DeSantis or somebody else that can stop him in a primary. But one of the things I want to point out right now is how angry I am to see. I'm not going to get into his base and the individual people, because that's almost a different conversation. It's the people in power in Congress that are enabling him. Speaker McCarthy, for instance, putting out his bullshit tweets, acting like this is some abuse of power by the district attorney and Democrats out trying to jail their political opponents when he knows better. He knows better. And then you've got people like Matt Walsh, who's in the right-wing MAGA media circle, okay? If you don't know who Matt Walsh is, just know that it's a man who is with the Daily Wire. It is the Daily Wire, right? Is it the Daily Wire? Let's see here. I believe it is the Daily Wire. One of those rags. I think that's right. Anyway, whatisawoman.com. He's a bully with transgender folks. He is a bigot. He is a racist. He is a pig. And right now, my problem that I'm having today is that he is not dumb. Neither is Tucker Carlson, neither is Laura Ingraham, neither is Mark Levin, insert name here, etc., etc., etc. These people fucking know better. They know better. They are beholden to Trump because they own their audience. Trump's base is their audience. Therefore, to maintain their grift, they have to rally around Trump no matter what he does. And the problem I'm having with this, again, is that they know better. Most of them are on record saying so, especially the text messages that emerged post-January 6th, about January 6th, with Tucker and others stating such. But here's the problem. It's not on video. It's not on audio. Therefore, it didn't happen. Nobody cares about a text message. They'll just scream fake news. So they're able to avoid the backlash of said comments. This morning, I wake up to a tweet from Matt Walsh, and I want to read it, and I'm going to read to you my response. And I hope that all of you understand what we're up against here. We are up against a political party, okay, that has been hijacked by a menace, a racist, and a bigot. And I think he hijacked it probably back in 2011 when he started his entire birtherism bullshit. And even though we had Mitt Romney, even he at that time had to go kiss Trump's ass to get endorsed by Trump to even have a chance of winning, and he lost. Trump emerges. He fills that void. He wins the election, beats Hillary Clinton in 2016. And by the way, he won that election. There was influence by Putin and Moscow to do so, yes, but no votes were changed. No voting machines were flipped. He won, okay? And he was president, and he lost re-election. And him losing re-election and his response to that, because he's such a thin-skinned fucking coward that he had to act like the election was stolen And as a result, we had January 6th where 5 people died. It's shocking that more were not. And they were there to overturn the election. Nothing changes that. Not 4 minutes of a video that Tucker Carlson posts that shows a little bit of calmness here and there. That's what happened. They were there for one reason, Trump's lies. They were there to overturn an election because of Trump's lies. And quite frankly, there was a faction of those folks that were there also to kill anyone they could get their hands on, not just Mike Pence, but I guarantee you that they'd have gotten their hands on Pelosi, on AOC, etc. They would have been killed. And that's a fact. So Matt Walsh responds this morning to the potential looming indictment of Trump that's potentially coming on Tuesday. And this is what King Bigot had to say. Conservatives lecture their own side for being too rude and mean, while Democrats arrest their political opponents and throw them in jail. If you haven't learned by now that we have no choice but to fight fire with fire, you're hopeless. There's rampant criminal activity among Democratic politicians, far more serious than anything they're trying to nail Trump for. Republicans need to be prosecuting these crimes. There's never been any serious effort by Republicans to investigate who funded and organized and participated in the BLM riots of 2020 and bring them to justice. They were willing to let it go. Then the Dems spend 2 years chasing down January 6ers. And of course, it's blowing up with retweets and likes and et cetera, fueling propaganda, fueling conspiracies, and empowering Trump. My response, and I'm going to read it, so there's inflection. And just note that in this tweet, there are articles that reinforce what I'm saying by AP, by CNN, by others about everything I'm claiming. It's all verifiable. And then below in the subtweet, I'll put the tweet. Therefore, you can see the links yourself. Yours truly, Matt. This is the dumbest thread Matt Walsh has ever written. First of all, the right has been trying to jail the Clintons since the 90s. Secondly, to compare domestic terrorists raiding our capital to overturn an election to some idiot looting CVS that was closed for business are not the same crime. But it's also worth noting there have been arrests and convictions, rightfully so, related to all sorts of out-of-control protests, BLM included. And then I post a link to those that the proof of what I'm saying. Matt Walsh is a liar. In addition, their career criminal, they insist on defending because that hateful, corrupt, racist pig owns their audience, has been attempting to abuse his power to arrest political opponents since his rise to power. Jesus Christ, he claimed as such when he was running in a debate. We have never, ever seen anything more disturbing than that. And he was applauded and he won election. Insert article showing video of him calling for Hillary Clinton to go to jail in the middle of their debate in 2016, their town hall debate. And 8 years later, his crowd still chants, "Lock her up!" 8 years later. Lastly, to compare anyone on the right or left to Trump is a grotesque false equivalency that further normalizes the most dangerous and corrupt individual to ever be in the White House. Ever. Domestic terrorists attempted to overthrow our election. People died. They would have murdered Pence, Pelosi, AOC, etc. if they could have. And Trump is using the same rhetoric that caused January 6th literally today, knowing what his crazy, sycophantic cult followers will do, as does Matt. And they don't care. They don't care. They'll just blame Soros, Antifa, BLM, and probably transgender activists. Because all that fake tough guy Matt Walsh can do is bully the most marginalized among us. And all he can do is talk tough for his garbage MAGA base, because in the end, it is he. It is you, Matt. It is he who is the coward, the grifter, the fraud. Trump belongs in jail for a whole list of egregious actions. For me personally, his 2020 plus January 6th bullshit should land him in prison, or like I said at the top of this video, at the very least, keep him out of elected office forever. And I bet you $5,000 that in private, Matt Walsh agrees. And that's what makes him so despicable. Just like Tucker, Ingram, Levin, etc., etc. These people aren't stupid. They're smart. They are. They're smart. And many of them are on record admitting privately how awful Trump is. But like I said, since it's not on video or even audio, they can evade pushback from their base. And Matt is no different. He's no different. Power and money over country and principle. They know better. And that's why I find them so detestable. Trump is a unique menace. He's unique. And Matt knows it. Shame on you, Matt Walsh. You fucking coward. That's what we're up against. Fight accordingly. Peacefully.